Hi there, everyone, and welcome to this meeting in May 7, 2025 for the Project Koala Working Group. We have an exciting agenda, and I would like to really start with thanking everyone who made this happen, that we are likely to finalize Beta 1 today in the meeting. I don't see any newcomers. Matthias, remind me, you've been here before, right?
Yes, I've been here before, mainly
Yeah.
to listen in and get familiar with the topic. Not able to contribute too much, but
Yeah, we welcome spies as well.
that's
No
fine.
worries.
I'm not a spy. I contribute in other projects, which hopefully
Yeah,
in some areas relate to it. So
I'm really looking forward to you presenting attestations to us later on and your work in
oh,
that area.
I should
But
do that. Yes.
let's do that in another meeting where we can plan that.
Yep.
The in toto attestation. Matthias is my guru in that area. So, when looking at our API, I'm really happy to say that a lot of things have happened during the last couple of days and weeks. I'm really proud of everyone that has been contributing a lot to make this happen. Even on a Sunday, we had a workshop working with the specification. So I'm really, really proud and happy to be part of this group. I don't know, Pavel or Piotr, do you want to take the lead and make a presentation of the Open API spec?
Yeah. Okay. I should I share the screen or should we look at?
Yeah, if you want to, absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay, then I will. Then just give me a minute to set up in place.
Yeah. So this spec has been worked on by many, many people. Victor did a lot of work in the beginning together with Paul. But lately, Piotr and Pavel has been working through a lot of the details. Hi, Dominic, and welcome. I just want to warn you that we're recording this meeting. So.
Hey, thanks.
Sounds like you're in a dangerous environment, but welcome. Piotr, should I stop sharing them?
Yeah. I'm almost there. I just copy paste it into something and.
So one thing we have changed dramatically during the last couple of weeks is that we had a lot of discussions about what we formerly called the leaf, which is now turned back into a component. We will talk about it as a T component in order to separate it from an SBOM CycloneDX component. But we realized that our attempt to avoid mentioning the word component confused more people than the confusion between using the same word for different things in the two different standards.
Yeah, and we still have a confusion for.
We are still confused, but on a higher level. We also added a new component we didn't have before. We had a loose definition of an index over the existing versions of a component that was produced by something else. But now we have our object we call release, and we can discuss whether that's a good name or bad name, could be version. But we have a separate object for that. So we go from the stuff you sell or download or distribute called product to component. And component is the real, from a development perspective, the work you develop, the product you develop. Then you have releases and collections and artifacts.
I just
So
want to
releases is a new object on a high level.
I just want to
Over to
mention
you,
one
Piotr.
thing.
Yes.
Is my mic working? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
once we get insights actually part of the spec, you will actually have multiple components meaning different things. So take that into consideration.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Am I sharing?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So maybe we could first look a little bit at the flow, or the API flow that we can have. The purpose, we divided the API into three main parts. The artifact part is actually not necessary to retrieve the collection. So we have a part to look at the products, which are what the marketing team calls product, or a bunch of software components, or hardware devices. Then there is a component part where we are already focused on a specific software component, hardware device with a specific configuration. And then we have the collections in the release. There are two entry points to the API. Some users might know the UUID of the product, and then they can retrieve a product object, which is basically a name and a set of identifiers. As identifiers, well, CPE often designates a product, not a precise software component. Pearls for all the software components that are in there, and then a list of components that we can look for. So if somebody does not know the UID of products, there's a products endpoint where you can.
And this is typically where you end up when you have a transparency exchange
If
identifier.
if you have a TEI, that's where we'll end up. I think probably it would be interesting to extend it to other identifiers too. So if you have a CPE, you can look for all the products that match that CPE. But it's not in the API right now. Okay, so products returns just a list of the objects we had before. So a name, a set of identifiers, and a set of components that are part of the product. Typical components, for example, if you have since I work on libraries in Java, one release of a source repository contains several Maven artifacts. So the components would be each of the artifacts that are in the source repository. We could also have a hardware device that, of course, contains some firmware. So the components would be the hardware separately and the firmware, which is upgradable on the other side.
Piotr,
Yeah.
1 second on that one. Can you expand products, please?
Products?
You didn't show the response. If you scroll
Well, no,
down
I was
and
more
show
interested in the required argument, because you have TURN as a required query string. Is that a mistake? Because that should be a get on the endpoint, right?
I think
no
that's
query parameter.
that we should modify. What we could improve is to have a pair of identifier type, identifier value, so we can.
It shouldn't be required for sure. It should be
Right.
optional. Yeah, I think that's a mistake.
The option. You mean if you want all of them?
Yeah, line 659. Line 659 should be removed, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pavel, can you open a ticket for that while?
Yeah, I
Piotr
can do a
goes
pull
into it?
request.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I'll just I'll just
Anyway,
write
I
for
think
myself and then I'll open pull request.
we should expand so we can enter using a CPE, for example.
Actually, let me just open my copy of the spec and I'll remove it. then I'll just.
But Victor, did you mean that it should be in the URL path? Or
No, I'm just saying
a
it
query
shouldn't be
parameter?
a required query string. It should accept query
Okay.
strings, but it shouldn't be required query string because you might want to list
Oh.
everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. And I think yeah, I was looking. There is another small problem. The products can return a 404, which I don't think is possible. Should be possible.
No,
Worst
probably should be.
it
It should
returns
be
an
empty. If so.
404. No, 404
No,
means the whole
if you have an
endpoint is not
argument,
implemented.
yeah, but if you have an
Oh
argument,
yeah. True.
you need
Can't
a
be
404 if the URL is wrong. So you definitely need a 404.
Or do you? Or do you just get an empty string?
No, you do an empty list.
Empty list, I mean.
It's which one is it?
array
Product or products? Can you scroll up a little bit and just
up.
This is product.
Product. Okay, let's.
Can you scroll down? Can you scroll down?
Yeah.
No,
So this,
I think it's wrong. Why? Like the example is wrong.
the example.
No, yeah, this whole thing is wrong. It should be an array of products, not a single product. Okay, I'll look at it.
The product by
It's-
UID. The product by UID should.
No, can you hide this one? I'm just like it's hard for me to products. Scroll down. Scroll down.
Yeah.
Scroll
No,
down.
here you have
This is wrong.
Yeah.
This should be an
list
array.
of objects.
Yeah,
No, it's
this.
an array.
No,
Results.
it's not an array. It starts with a curly
Yeah, so
brace.
this needs to be between the square brackets.
Yes.
That's the indication that
Results
tells you.
is an array.
Results is an
Yeah.
array. So the property results
Oh,
is an
it's
array.
in results. Okay, I got it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You're right.
It's,
You're right.
it's
Okay.
an object that
Yeah.
has some
I got. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I got. Okay. So
Super.
results. Yeah. So 404 here may be wrong. Yeah, because
it
you
should be
just
an
want to
empty
have empty results.
result.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. The example.
Can we add that as a comment so we make that very clear?
I'm writing for myself, and then I'll just open
Yeah.
PR after the call.
Yeah, but return a comment that if there are no products matching, there will be an empty list as a
Okay.
response.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just to make that very, very clear.
Okay.
Okay. So this endpoints seem complete.
Yeah, with the changes that we're gonna do.
For the beta,
I think
actually, guys are asking questions in chat. But I'm just
okay.
like Steve and Matt. Yes. Where is the ability to submit a Perl GTIN to retrieve information about?
Yeah, I think be able
Package URLs and GTINs are usually part of the TEI. So you provide a full TEI URL.
Well,
That's what.
Yeah, I think that's.
Those.
Pelder mentioned that we may want like alternative queries, which is fine, but we can leave it for later.
Yeah, we can need that for the beta, but right now the all of those are included in the TEI.
No, I think Perl is particularly useful, actually.
yeah,
Like
Perl
standalone Perl.
Perl
But
system.
we can have that as a query parameter.
So I think I started this morning a PR to replace this parameter with a serialized identifier. So with a pair of ID type, ID value. So we can have ID type equals CPE, ID value equals, or ID type equals TE.
It's good. Yeah. So you'll open this. Yeah. No, I think it's good. I think it's good.
So I can open a PR to replace this with a pair of identifiers.
Sure. Then I won't. Then can you remove also the required flag on your side if you're touching this?
Yeah. So
Okay. And I'll just remove the 404 thing. Okay. Cool. Awesome.
Remove required. Okay.
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay, so once we have this, yeah, there's something we could think later is if you look here at the example, the components, you only have the UID of the components, which means that you need another API call to know what the component is actually. So you don't have a name and a set of identifier of components.
Is that
so-
necessary though? I think the component ID is fine, right?
I think the example here is wrong, Piotr, because it's only one product and you listed the components in the list there
I'm
with different
looking at
package
the-
URLs. And
I'm looking
that's
at the first
not the place for that.
product UID.
Yes, yes,
So
but the list there is identifiers for this product. Not, and you listed a lot of components, or is
Yeah,
Log4j API, Log4j core, and Log4j layout template
Yeah,
listeners, or
yeah,
they
yeah.
the same product?
yeah, these are components of this product.
Yeah, they shouldn't be listed here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if I don't list them here, I cannot query for the
No.
identifier.
No, but the list there is identifier for the product, not for
Yeah.
the components. Aliases, so to say.
Yeah.
But what you're saying now is you want more data on the list of components, which is fine. Maybe these package URL belongs in the list of components,
Okay, yes.
but
Yes,
you
yes.
have them in the wrong place in this example.
Okay. So example, remove pairs. Okay, so product can have a CPE, a TEI, but pairs are not so much a product, right?
Oh, could have a package URL, could have a GTI, could have
But
multiple
can,
TIs.
you can have
because
Perl. No, you can have Perl for
Yeah,
sure, but
absolutely.
it just
Yeah.
needs to be a Perl that's describing the product itself. So it would be like Apache Log4j in your case.
Yeah.
So the whole, I don't know if it exists actually. I
Oh,
think it does.
this famous SWID pair, right?
Yeah, but you could have package URL to in Maven, and you could have package URL that points to your GitHub repo, right?
Yeah.
It's the same product, just two different places, two different identifiers.
Okay.
And then Matthias has question about products from different vendors. What I see. So for now we don't do any grouping for vendor. No, they will all be in the same.
Well, I think we assume that the vendor is the vendor of the server.
I think that's the assumption we made from the beginning.
I think within a domain,
Yeah, maybe we could add
that the server responds to, within that domain, there's only a single vendor.
Yeah, think of it as a namespace, right?
Yeah.
Like in Docker or Hub or something.
I personally wouldn't put any of that in the documentation because I mean, there is nothing to prevent people to mesh up stuff from different vendors in one server.
No.
So,
No,
we can come back to that
would,
discussion
yeah.
later. I think we need to
yeah.
move on with the beta here and
Okay,
find issues in the.
This I totally agree with this. Yeah.
Maybe we can create an issue to add a vendor field to product. So if you have the same product,
let's not stop there, Piotr. Let's move on.
Yeah.
With the things we have. Sorry.
Yeah, no. I'm just.
So we need to update. So from important, we need to update this example, and Feather will do it, right? Update example to only have identifiers specific to the product.
Too specific to the product.
Then after the beta, we'll come back to the list of components if we need more data on the components like names and package URLs.
Okay, so let's pass to the component API. So the example here is almost identical to product. So you have a name, you have a set of identifiers. So this is a very small element. So
And this is based on the UID you got in the products.
this is
API.
based on the UID you got in the products. That's why I thought
or have cached.
we could also include this object in the products object, so you don't need a separate call to just get a name and a set of identifiers for the component.
That payload might get very big though if we include all this metadata, because then you're basically making this endpoint redundant if you folding up all that data up to the /products endpoint.
Yes, but it doesn't the payload will not be huge, because I don't know how many components can a product, but I think well.
Can we try to focus on finding bugs in the current documentation?
Okay.
Potential changes, we have plenty of time to discuss afterwards, but
okay,
let's hash this out now. And if it doesn't work, we'll change it, but we need to agree on something.
Yeah, okay, good idea. So this is the component UID call. That I think if you know what the component is, you can skip it. It just gives you a name and a set of identifiers. A more interesting endpoint is the releases endpoint that adds you the exact versions. So for each component release, you have a version string, a release date, a pre-release tag, and a set of identifiers. I think I have, if I'm able to switch, because I never know how to remove the bar I have on top of my screen.
Our release date example is weird. I think it needs to change.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll do that.
The IT industry didn't live by then.
Anyway, for this there is a PR with an example, and there's
I'll change that.
Pavel made a comment because I proposed, for example, one for the zip archive of Tomcat, another one.
That's below. That's for the release. No, that's still okay. We're discussing release. Yeah. No, you're right.
We discussed that and decided to postpone that distribution. We have a ticket open on it, but we will just have to come back because we couldn't agree right now.
Yeah, probably we can skip it for today. Yeah, I mean, people would understand different things, but it's fine for the beta. I think
it is an issue we need to face, but we don't have time right now for that discussion. We need to get something that we agree on, that this is what we're gonna test, and based on the test, we'll get feedback, and we're gonna add missing stuff again.
So I'll update date and the version example I'll change.
You don't think this release was made in 1799?
Month 71? Probably not.
And day 33. Everything is wrong.
Yeah, no, I'll change that. Yeah, hours also, like, I don't know how.
Yes.
I'm just wondering how that crept in.
Examples.
Whether I would trust that vendor is another issue. But let's move on.
A quick question on this one. Are we gonna add also check some hashes to this level?
Some hashes. That would be so mean if this
is not pointing to an artifact or anything.
Well, in the way I see it, it points to a binary file, to some sort of binary distribution.
Yeah, but we have no direct relationship.
No, that's the discussion. Yeah, that we just decided to postpone.
Okay, component. I postpone component release at checksum. If we decide that component release is it's a binary file with an exact checksum, then we'll add the checksum here. Okay. Anyway, I think the important fact that this component release it's parameterized by many parameters. So the version and also the packaging. So if you have the same thing like Tomcat in 4 different packaging,
we just decided to postpone that. So
Yes.
okay.
Okay.
One thing that's 100% there is version. So version is there for sure. The rest
version will be
Yeah,
there.
and the reason we have release date is to be able to sort. That's not for validation of any kind. It's a way to control the sorting. We could have weight or index or whatever, but we
and
picked
you
the
release
date
the
as a way to sort the releases. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So once you have this okay, one important thing I didn't tell, this UID, the UID of the component release is the same thing that we will have in collection. So once we have the UID, we use the same UID to have oh, this one is okay. This has a nice example.
But wait, guys,
So-
we have sorry, Peter, but we have collection and collections, right? In those endpoints, right?
Yeah, collection is the latest collection.
Yeah, but didn't we say we shouldn't have latest? Because what does latest mean? Because if you have 2 running parallel releases, for instance, right? What is latest? I thought that was
Sorry, collections are versioned
Collections
by an index
a
number.
UID and a version. So
And
here
highest
we
number is the latest collection
number and
for just a single specific release. So if you update the SBOM, you update the VEX, you update your PDF documentation, you get a new collection version.
I see what you mean. Oh, I see. Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
I think you're somewhere else, but
an integer. It's the same thing like in the CycloneDX documents.
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough.
A number and a version.
Yeah.
And so the fields that we have here is release date. Again, it's more. I don't remember if it's defined as the release date of the collection or the.
I thought it should be collection date as a release of the collection.
Yeah, that would be date when this version of collection was created.
Release underscore probably needs to go away.
Just date, right?
But if you already have a version ID, why do you need a collection timestamp on the collection?
Because you release on one day, right? But you can update collection during the life cycle of that release.
So it's the update date of the collection.
Yes, that's
creation. This is
that's why I say release underscore needs to go away.
Yes.
This should be created at and updated at.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, created at.
There is there is no concept of update though. Collection is immutable. If you update, you create a new collection.
Yeah. So
you can keep adding stuff. For example,
but then you create version 2 of the collection. If you change something in the collection, you create a new version of this collection that will get a new date. You cannot modify the old one.
Okay, but that imagine that we have this thing and we have a release on, let's say, the nested item format MIME type CycloneDX XML. Now I want to add a JSON. Why would I create an entire new object?
But those are 2 different objects.
So what I was writing in the comments.
Those are 2 formats of the same artifact, and adding a new artifact format is something that users of the API probably would like to know. So they will get the notification that there's a new collection because something changed. Oh, there's a new version of CycloneDX in protobuf.
That's fine.
I'm going to use that.
Imagine this field has created that and then updated that. The first time they are equal. Then I add the new version with JSON. I will
the first time
format.
is probably found in the release object above, right? That's the release date.
Yeah.
That's
Hold
when
on a
you have
second,
the
hold on.
first collection. So you have that date. We only need the update date in the collection, I think. Unless you want to duplicate information.
I was writing
I
it
don't
in the
know.
comments, but there is a concept which is called Lamport timestamp. So I would, which is actually useful here. So if some people not familiar, I recommend, like, there is a Wikipedia article on that. Essentially, what this means is every change that you have gets a timestamp, like gets a number, which is version number of our collection.
Yeah.
So the way we think of collection, I mean, at least in the system like I'm working on, it closely aligns to this concept, and that essentially, if you're thinking about collections as a Lamport timestamp for changes, I think this describes it very closely what's actually happening there.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I think we need to modify we want it to be monotonic, the release date, right? So
What do you mean?
non-decreasing. So if the version increases, the release date does not.
Yeah, there can be validation rules, but I think I don't even think we can put it in API to.
Yeah. Well, we
Okay.
can add it in a comment.
Can we postpone that discussion? And
yeah,
sorry, I see the clock ticking, and I really want to get through.
Yeah, sure.
It's important that we capture this discussion and open tickets on the stuff we need to resolve. But we don't have to resolve it in the meeting already.
Yeah, I would also change this example with because the type shouldn't be artifact. If it's a version 1, I would just increment version in the example, because first version is always like initial collection. And then if we want to have reason artifact updated, it should be.
Yeah, it should be 2. It should be 2, right?
Yeah. Who does that?
I'll do that.
Okay,
Okay,
great.
thank you.
Great. Okay. So the update reason. Do we want to go through that? It's maybe I'll start.
It's coming later in the enum. So
say it again. Which one?
Update reason, collection update reason type.
Yeah.
So this is an enum. It has initial release, vex updated, artifact updated, artifact added, and artifact removed. So vex is a first class citizen in this enum.
The vex is a special case. Yeah. Ollie wanted it. I don't mind, but generally this is exhaustive for now. The list. I mean, it may be revised later, but this covers all the cases.
We'll see when we have implementation experience. But as a user, I would like a separate alarm if my vendor update the vex file. That's
So if
the reason. I may be totally insane, but I think that's a very important use case.
Okay. So regarding the artifacts array, so we have a separate UID. So somebody, this is for the metadata of the given artifact that can be retrieved through another endpoint. We have a description of to know what it is. So a human readable description. The type we stole it from CycloneDX, external references type. So there is a long list of types. Some are security related, some are not security related. Probably we could prune the list from website and other types, but for now it's the full list. And then there is the possibility to give this same artifact in multiple versions. I think I didn't give it in the example because I used a real world example and we don't publish in JSON, but for each artifact you can have several formats that differ by mimetype. So this one is in XML. Each artifact needs a URL to download the artifact, Optionally, to reuse the large number of signatures we have in repositories, an external signature URL is provided, and a set of checksums.
So sorry, Peter,
But
just as an implementator, I have a liberty here, right? I can include several formats, or I can make it several artifacts, each with just one format. I think both
Yeah,
are
yeah.
valid based on the spec.
Yeah. We need to write some recommendation there, but I
Yeah,
see one thing missing,
For
Piotr.
example, so I would say that if the content is identical, then you have multiple formats of an artifact. So
Yeah.
if I convert this
But
to one, then it's a different form.
But then we'll have a big conversation of what identical really is, right?
yes, but SPDX and CycloneDX SBOMs probably
but
are not identical.
anyway,
But
if I
Pavel,
publish-
Piotr, sorry, you have one thing missing here because the MIME type here doesn't say that it's an SBOM. It could be an HBOM or CBOM, and that's why we added that
the
extra
type is
enum.
here, the type is common. The artifact defines what it is, and the formats are
Right. But do we only have BOM, not SBOM?
that's what CycloneDX has.
Actually, that does not have to be for beta, but maybe we'll have an issue. So for potential compatibility with GraphQL in the future, I would suggest all enums to be uppercase. Because if we ever decide to do GraphQL, that will save so much headache later.
Okay.
Same thing with
if
protobuf.
CycloneDX team won't hate us, but I was hoping that we had a difference between SBOM and HBOM and CBOM here, but you're telling me that we haven't in the CycloneDX list.
I think there is just a bomb. I could try check, but there is also
Let's open an issue on that and come back to that later, Piotr.
anyway, these components are very separate. There is a separate component for hardware and software, so it's either an SBOM or an HBOM.
Because I believe that's a strong use case to be able to make sure it's software bill of materials or something else. But we can come back to that later. Let's move on.
Okay. And if it's a hardware component, that it will be an HBOM. The other ones, OBOM, SASBOM, CBOM, I don't know. Maybe we need enums for that. Okay. So the checksums also are reusable. I copied this from Maven Central, and I just added our VDR, not VEX, which is published separately.
Yeah, beautiful.
Okay. So I think for this endpoint we discussed the main things, right?
Yep.
So I close this one. Okay, so there was a question why we have collections. Collections here would be if somebody wants to query all the collection versions and for example to have just those that updated the VEX file. There is a bug we are aware it doesn't have any query strings. So but I think
we have an open issue on that. So
yeah, I think we opened an issue for that. We need to have a query string, and then maybe we need pagination, or just to be compatible with products. We need
like okay.
Right now is just an error, and then there's also a way to access each version by number. So collection, this one gives you the latest one, and
the highest number.
Yeah, you can find which one is the latest one in the collection endpoint, for example 10, and then you say, okay, I want to go back in time and look at version 9, 8, 7, and so on. So the result is the same. It just you can specify the version, and it's not only the
But
latest one. So
to clarify, since we got questions, there are no pointers between the collection versions. There's just a number, so you don't need to update version 9 or change the data in version 9 if you release version 10 of the collection.
yeah. So
But-
it
Sorry,
Yeah.
just for clarification, will the new version include the old artifact list, or is it just the diff?
It needs to be a complete collection.
whatever is there, you can remove, you can add, you can modify artifacts.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
but
when
each
I get
collection is a
latest,
complete collection. You don't need to
Okay.
aggregate them.
yeah, that's good because we talked in the chat. We talked about iterating over older versions to get more info. But that
Only
means
reason for doing that if you're doing an audit and you want to figure out what the vendor is.
yeah, the
doing,
changes. Yeah, of course.
Yep.
But then I would most probably only be interested in the update reason field and not in the artifact list, because the current artifact list I can get by querying only the slash collection
I was
endpoint.
thinking about that in the collections URI, if we could have query parameters that limited the output of data, so we could get a quick list with the update reason or something. But we
Yeah.
postponed that for later, so we have an open ticket.
Yeah,
So
that's an
please
optimization.
Add your input on that ticket. And
Yeah.
we have 50 minutes to go, so please,
Okay.
Piotr.
Yeah, maybe something that's important. The URL for this artifacts must be a permalink. So those URLs must be immutable.
But can be relative, so it can be within the T service as well.
Yeah, it can be within the T service, but you expect that artifact doesn't. It has checksums, so it cannot be modified.
No.
This may be an issue. I mean, again, we can postpone, but this may be an issue if there is authentication and stuff like that. But we can postpone for sure. And also if it's if these are
That's why I
external
wanted it
artifacts.
relative, because if I have authentication, I need protection.
But it may be no, but also it may be not even stored on the T server. It may be, I don't know, like a Docker image on some outside repository, and you can't just go and download it. You need maybe.
That's why, I mean, in the example, we have a full HTTPS:// and that's fine. But we probably need an example of a relative one within the same URL space, right?
Well, here I use
with a slash.
Immutable. I cannot modify it even if there are errors there.
No.
Yeah, but okay. Let's postpone this. I'm just saying.
Okay, move on.
Okay, so we are almost at the end. Well, the T release actually allows us to retrieve all the documents. If somebody is interested to just access this artifact part, there is a short another endpoint that well just returns the right part of. So it's nothing really new. It's the same artifact we had in the collection, but it's separate. It's a separate JSON object.
You have some new fields here, though. You have author, name, email, organization that was not present in the previous one.
I think author has been there for a long time, Victor, because I opened a ticket and said, because I added them everywhere, and I said, this must be stupid. Where do we really need them? Maybe we don't need them here. Maybe we need them, but we need a discussion.
But somewhere it was
whatever we do should be consistent,
author,
right?
Yeah, because for an EU certificate compliance, there needs to be a person, right? But do we need it in other cases?
It's also
I think
duplicate in the SBOM as well, if you're following the anti-ML element as well.
Yeah, but our artifact might be a total different attestation,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, true.
So in some cases it will duplicate, but do we want them within the API? Is there any reason? I think I just copy pasted too much. So it's a valid question, and we need that discussion.
I'd
But
probably
maybe not
remove
now.
that for now. It's easier to add it later than.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you open a ticket or a pull request on that, Victor?
Yeah, I can put a ticket for right now and see if I can do a pull request.
Okay, and then we can make an agreement.
Okay. And
Okay.
yeah, I think that's all.
Okay, great. Let me share.
I was looking to do some cleaning up. For example, we have some properties which are snake case, some which are camel case. I would propose to convert everything to camel case, which is what CycloneDX uses. So not release underscore date, but release uppercase D8. If you agree.
What's the group's opinion about this? I know it can be religious, so please don't fight.
I have no opinion. It's just if we decide, let's do it quickly. That's the
Yeah.
only thing.
Yeah, we need to do it quickly.
As long as we're
Will you
consistent,
do a
I have no
pull-
strong opinion. But Steve, do we have any CycloneDX side of opinions on that from like to adhering to upstream?
Yeah, we use lower camel case. So everything starts with a lowercase letter and then uppercases in the middle. There are a
Okay.
few corner cases in CycloneDX, bomb-ref being one of them, but for the most part, everything is lower camel case.
I think that settles it.
Okay.
Who will produce?
I'll make PR if I didn't do it already, because I might have do it.
Okay. Cool.
So Piotr, you would
So-
change to camel case, right? Basically.
Yeah,
If-
already. Yeah,
Lower camel case.
there is
Yes.
already a PR. Use camel case instead of.
you
Okay.
made a PR already? Cool.
Yeah, I need
So-
to match it with my other changes.
Okay. So
Which
to
one?
try
Which
to
one? Which one is it?
138.
1,
Okay.
3,
To try to summarize in this meeting, we have an API flow document which gave a high-level overview of what we just saw, where we have discovery of the TI using DNS, and we'll move on, and we get the releases. I think these are actually up to date, because now we also have a return of the.
There are too many calls. If I remember, you need 4 calls to the API.
Yeah,
From product
Okay.
to get component UID, then you already you get the collection.
then we need to fix this as well. I added an API flow based on direct access to the API without a UI, but this is not. Okay, sorry, this can't be the latest one, or I haven't committed one, because I added another flow in this.
Oh yes, I think a PR for that.
Okay, there's a PR for that, where we had. Sorry for that confusion, but I added a flow just to check that if there's a new version number, because we had a ticket for that, to check if my component has a new version. So we'll update the API flow so you can review that. I see that we have a few very minor things to fix. I'm very happy of the outcome of this meeting, but we need to finalize the beta. So I'm asking if we can have an extra meeting on Friday to go through and commit and make a decision about the beta. Would that work Friday afternoon for you guys?
Should we have a workshop before if we don't manage?
No, it's going to be a combination workshop, but
Okay,
we need to finalize, not leave open issues after
in
that.
a way that if we have PRs that are not merged, we can go for them and merge them.
Yeah. And I won't interrupt you all the time then, like I do now, because right now we have a normal meeting where we have limited time scope. But would Friday afternoon be okay?
After 2 p.m. UK time, I should be able to jump on briefly.
All right. So
Works for
3
me.
o'clock Stockholm time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is it UTC? Like today, what was the time, your time we started?
It's
We
4 p.m.
started
now.
4 o'clock.
Friday.
It's
Yes, it's
almost 5.
Okay,
Valerio, Dominic,
So yeah, it's good, fine for me.
What hour?
okay.
So,
Yeah,
so,
that's
so for
fine.
4 o'clock there is an ECMA TG2 meeting. I might listen to.
Shall we try, for those that can, we'll start 3 o'clock Stockholm time,
Oh yeah.
and we'll work us that through, and we'll make some decisions around 4 o'clock then.
Further, your 138 has conflicts, just letting you know.
138 has now has conflicts because there was a merge that
Yeah, no, I understand. Just because I would wait for that one before I push my changes, just so.
yeah. Yeah, I'll fix it in the evening. Now it's maintenance.
Sure. Yeah, sure. No rush.
Until 12 Pacific time.
Okay, I'll create a Zoom invite, and then I'll add the link also in the chat. If you want a personal Zoom invite, please DM me your mail address. I don't think I have Dominic's mail address. I think I can catch the rest of you. Beautiful.
And Ole, can we remove go through the issues too and close those that no longer apply?
We'll try to do that on Friday. Yes.
For example, the oldest one retrieved by Pearl, I think. Yeah, okay, we will implement that.
Yeah. We'll do that.
Yeah. Okay.
So looking forward to Friday then. Do you have anything more? I kind of skipped some traditional items on the agenda, Steve. Your report from other working groups. Do you have any information to share with us?
No, other than you and I need to reconvene and figure out when the next TG meeting is gonna be. So
Yes, and we have a lot of other things to discuss as well.
yes.
So I'm happy to invite you to Stockholm for a one-day workshop, Steve.
I would love to go. We'll see.
A stupid technical question. How do I get the comments in this meeting? For example, Steve, can you copy the comment you have about Perl, GTIN, and so on? So we add those identifiers to the API.
Yeah.
But basically for now, Piotr, they will be part of the TI, not separate identifiers. So we're not going to add anything else than the TI.
In the TI not, but we can add to the enum that has already
No.
PPE.
We have TI, CP, and package URL. And GTI will be part of TI.
And
it's a type of TI.
Ian
it's
and
part of the TI.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I'll make a PR for that. So if I have a list of identifiers, some go to the TI.
Basically, the identifiers right now: TI, package URL, and CP.
Okay, so that's fixed. Okay, great.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks.
But I need to clarify TI because we got a lot of input from Victor. I just haven't had time for that. Victor's friend, Victor left. I'm sorry, I haven't got his name, but we got a presentation, you remember, about the new identifiers that we need to incorporate. So we need to do that as well.
Okay.
But I think we are getting ready to close. We are, what should we guess? 95% done. I didn't see any big changes in the API structure or documentation. There are a lot of minor things, clarification, examples, but I think we're
clarification. We can change the name of the methods. I generated the Java API, so we can change that so the methods are shorter and easier.
I'm really happy that we are there, and if we can close this on Friday, it would be even much better. So thank you all. Thank you for your contributions, especially for working over weekends and evenings and mornings, depending on your time zone. This is a great team effort. I'm very, very proud of all of you and our accomplishment. So thank you all and see you on Friday. Steve, do you have a few minutes?
I do.
Yeah, so let's stay in.